It's that time of the week again where I have to review Gotham Knights, so let's get right into it. Time's a wasting. There will be spoilers in so much as it's possible to spoil this show. So let's start with the recap that they do. They tell us Batman is not alive after falling through a window in Wayne Tower. Maybe he was pushed, maybe he was thrown. I have absolutely no idea because they did it all off camera in episode 1. You would have thought the demise of the Dark Knight, one of the greatest superheroes in history, would have been compelling enough to justify showing it on camera, but nah. Batman's adopted son, Turner Hayes, gets the blame for the death and is on the run with a group of young people who have been dubbed the Gotham Knights. The actual people responsible were a shadowy group called the Court of Owls, who have an enforcer called the Talon, who is immortal, so he turns up every couple of episodes to lose, gets blown up and then comes back again. So after some initial promise, he's kind of a joke at this point. He's been around for so long that his daughter is in an old folks home. So we start off and a black-clad person is breaking into a building to steal a work of art. They rappel down through the skylight, take a picture from the wall and an alarm goes off. And then they patiently wait for the security for reasons. Guard 1 comes in, calls for backup and then immediately runs into punching range while fumbling with his sidearm and gets knocked out. Guard 2 comes in and does the exact same thing as guard number 1. Guard 3 comes down some stairs, empties his revolver at the black-clad person and then gets immediately knocked out. Man number 4 comes in and gets ambushed. That one was maybe not his fault. So they were all knocked out. But how did the ninja even know Guard 4 was going to come in through that door? They were setting up the ambush before Guard 4 even entered the room. The person then takes the picture and goes back up the rope in less time than they spent waiting for the guards. They could have taken the picture and gone up without the guards ever even seeing them. They only got saved by the guards either walking into punching range or missing. And if your plan involves running on a wall and dodging 6 shots from a revolver and just hoping that the guard will miss, you have a terrible plan. That was one of the worst openings to an episode of this show yet. After the intro, we're told that it was City Hall that had all the very expensive works of art unsecured on the walls and waiting to be stolen, and the police commissioner has brought in a hotshot lady cop to solve the case of the thefts. And you know, the very first thing I thought of when this person came onto screen? It's her. The lady cop's the art thief. I don't know why yet, but it's her. That one. Officer Green, it's her. And annoyingly, it was. That is how hackneyed, cliched, predictable and boring the writing is in this show. I've been watching some old episodes of Perry Mason from all the way back in the late 50s because I realised I'd never watched them before, and writing was not always like this. In that show, they frequently pull the wool over my eyes, and in comparison, a lot of this modern writing is so dumbed down it's like self-parody. And it's so infantile in comparison. And it gets worse, because they then have a scene where they try to justify that opening. A cop asks why is the thief waiting for security.
I don't get it. I mean, first the guy doesn't think twice about tripping the alarm, then once the alarms go off, he just waits for security. I mean, is he being cocky or just dumb?
Is he being cocky or is he just dumb? And the lady super cop comes in and says,
He's being smart. The thief waits for security to arrive so he can take them out, because if they're down, they can't pursue. And they can't shoot at him as he makes his way up and out.
No, he's being smart. The thief waits for security to arrive so he can take them out, because then they can't pursue and shoot at him as he's making his way up the rope and out. And the writers are just making it worse. This is City Hall. The thief needs to get away as fast as possible because the police are going to come as soon as that alarm goes off. There is nothing smart about any of this plan. Smart would have been bypassing the security without tripping the alarm and without having to dodge bullets, and the insistence of everyone that the person covered head to toe was a man is so transparent it's painful. Everyone assumes this master ninja must be a man, but guess what? It's really a woman. And it's like the writers have Asperger's syndrome, but instead of expletives, they can't help but blurt out feminist messages, pro-trans stuff, pro-LGBT stuff. It's like they have to meet a quota. After a suggestion by the news anchors on TV, the Knights are divided about whether to do anything about the art thefts. Harper is very dismissive of the idea, calling the art overpriced swirls of paint and saying she doesn't want to collect pretty things for rich people. Later on she says, I don't see why I should care about the missing doodles of rich people. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of hate this character with a passion. She also doesn't make much sense. She's a career thief. You would think she'd take at least just a little interest in art, if just for being something she could take and sell for a lot of money. And what an attitude to have towards art, because yes, that's what the collective works of Michelangelo and Salvador Dali were, just a collection of doodles for rich people. She just hates rich people, which at best is intellectually lazy. Granted, some people do bad things to get the money they have, some people are born into money, and some people get rich and help a lot of people along the way. But this character draws no distinction whatsoever between these three groups, and this view is poisonous and destructive. Just take the case of Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, the basketball player. From reports, his family were not well off when he was growing up. They struggled to make rent. He had a hard upbringing, then became a successful basketball player, made a lot of money, and what did he do with it? He started a charitable foundation, helped local businesses, runs businesses himself to provide jobs for local people, gives away shoes to school children, runs a program called Shaka Claus, where he's been providing tens of thousands of toys, meals and other needs to youth across the country since 1997. And in this character's view, if only the rich could be good moral people like she is, and work with organised crime, and loot shops like she does. And that's probably the surest way you could possibly find of creating poverty and ruining a community. Deadname disagrees with his sister on art, whereas Turner says that they have bigger problems, namely the immortal assassin and how he keeps on coming back from being blown up. Joella has a plan, and Diversity Robin stays with her because she's worried about what she's going to do, so the group split up for no good reason. It is in fact really catastrophically stupid. Now when the rest of the group have to fight the art thief ninja later on, they'll be doing it at reduced strength because they chose to split the group up and leave their two best fighters behind. Robin gets a text from Joella later to come and meet her. Joella stole a car from the school and Robin asks why, so Joella shows her. In the boot of the car is the daughter of the Talon, the Court of Owls assassin, that Joella has abducted from an old folks home in the hope that this woman can fill them in on how her dad keeps coming back alive despite repeatedly getting blown up and being over 100 years old. And this part is by far the most fun the series has got so far for me. All of the actors do a pretty good job and I'm quickly warming to Joella. She's maybe a bit derivative of Harley Quinn, but it's something. She even made me laugh multiple times, like an actual laugh at a funny line. Actually laughing with the show instead of at it for once.
Okay, but you have to be nice.
Down! Do not make me tase you again! You tase a senior citizen?
I put it on the lowest setting, it's fine.
As crazy Joella tries to interrogate the crazy old bat and Robin tries to stop them ending each other. Meanwhile, Stephanie learns that the stolen paintings are all linked. They were, at one point or another, all owned by the Wayne family, and it seems they're being sought by the Court of Owls. And Harper goes to try and get information on the art thefts by going to her Irish mobster ex-boyfriend, who they robbed a few episodes ago. In the real world, this man would probably try to end her. Instead, he gives a touchy-feely speech about his hurt feelings, like he's a jilted teenage girl, and he doesn't know anything anyway. So that is the humiliate a man by making him act like a cliche of a woman part of the show covered, and they work out what painting is going to be next by looking through what the Waynes owned, and they stake the building out where that painting is being stored, and at least the knights have the wit to be wearing disguises this time. The thief then arrives, and they keep on calling the person a he. The he then opens fire on them, then gets hit with a batarang and puts a ricocheted bullet in their own leg by accident. And let's see who the art thief ninja really was. They take the mask off, and it was Officer Green, the hotshot lady cop all along, and she would have got away with it if it wasn't for their meddling kids. The problem is that Lady Cop was being extorted into doing it. The Court of Owls were holding her family hostage, so the Gotham Knights then have to break in to the ludicrously badly offended warehouse containing allegedly millions of dollars worth of art and get the painting for her, because now she has a bullet in the leg and can't do it herself. They get the painting, take it to the Owls, and after they get the painting, the Owls are just going to end all of the witnesses anyway. The hostages and the people that got the painting for them, but the Gotham Knights brought along the old lady that Joella kidnapped to trade, so the Owls give the family back and are then nice enough to not open fire while the Knights slowly drive away in a large van. So Officer Green gets her family back, and do you know what she never got in this episode? A character. The show then makes a big song and dance that Super Cop Ninja Art Thief's family is her wife and daughter, and she was secretly gay all along. So that's the LGBT normalisation quota met for another week. But that was more important than her having a character, I guess. That is her character. She's gay. Also, Joella found a hidden compartment in the Biddy's music box containing photos of the Owls. Harper and Stephanie have a moment, so now it appears Stephanie is the love interest for the entire cast, but on the flip side, she has got a nice smile, and Joella looks good in leather trousers. Harvey Dent did some stuff too, mostly another man's wife again, and the Owls burnt the paintings to find a hidden mystery map of Gotham under one of them. So how would I sum all that up? There were some parts in there that I actually liked. The acting across the board wasn't horrible, maybe even quite good in places, but their cliched bad writing and their terrible fight scenes and nothing much making sense and barely any character building in the filler and the forced politics are like an albatross-shaped millstone hanging around the show's neck.